All right. So this morning, it is Friday, March 8th, 2024. This morning, in our live trading session with our members, we caught a 60% profit call on QQQ. It didn't extend as far as we wanted it to, but really would be silly to complain about 50, 60% profit, so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, the market ended up giving those highs, and we ended up getting out pretty confidently, pretty comfortably. So what I want to do is first show you how I got into that trade, how I found it, why I had confidence in it, and then I'll clip in the recording from the live trading this morning so you guys can actually see how I manage that in real time and how I talk myself through that trade. So first, let's look at the NASDAQ, let's look at QQQ, and this is a rewind to before the market opened. So this is essentially what we did with members. This was the pre-market analysis that we were doing in order to find opportunities and be ready when the market was open. So I always like looking at the NASDAQ futures. These are the NASDAQ 100 futures, and I analyze those and trade with the QQQ. And the QQQ is the NASDAQ 100 ETF. So simple as that, right? I like to analyze with futures, and it's part of my trading strategy and edge for the NASDAQ ETF, which is QQQ. So for the NQ, you could see that on Friday last week, we hit new all-time highs. On Sunday, when futures opened up, we held those highs. And then on Monday, we started to reject those highs. But the moral of the story is that we had a lot of hold here, right? There was no breakout. There was just a buildup into those highs. And then on the third day, we started to drop off, right? You could see that the buying pressure couldn't hold anymore, and it started to let loose to the downside. So we ended up slipping back into a previous level, a previous high back here that we sold off from. And you can see that we tried to bounce initially, slipped below it, and then into Tuesday, we made that lower high off of that previous level, and we did exactly what we did the previous time, but this time a bit more, and we sold off heavy. So on Tuesday, we continued that selling, and then towards the end of day Tuesday into the night, we started trading sideways. Right when Wednesday opened, we took off. If I space this out a little bit more, you can see that after we took off, the area that we back tested was that same exact level. Now, after backtesting that level, you can see that we got buying pressure, and the highest that we got on Wednesday, right, the high of day Wednesday was what? It was that previous level that we tested right on Tuesday, and that was previously that lower high on Friday. So you can see the significance coming out of this level and why I consider that a key level. Now it continues. If we look to the right, we start breaking to the upside, get a little bit of push off of that same level, extend, and we start to sell. Now this is on Thursday, right? The rally to the upside, and where does that stop? That stops directly at the all-time high on Friday, Sunday, and Monday. So a week later, we're getting that same type of price action off of the same exact level, right? Because on Thursday, we sold into the close. Now where did we bounce? We bounced at that same exact level, right? That was the low that we found. We took off from there, and it continues, right? Where did we start to sell? We sold at that all-time high again, and then into the pre-market. This is 8:30 a.m. right here. We got some data, and we pushed back in, and you can see that that level was still somehow holding. So this gave me a lot of confidence, right, in regard to the levels. I know that there was strong reactions from these levels, and if I can use my edge, find a good trade setup, get into a good position with good risk to reward, and I have that checklist set, my entry criteria is ready to go, then I'll get into a trade. So we get the levels. Let's click Control-Z a bunch of times. And now let's take a look at what the trade setups could have been. So above you have all-time highs. Below is Wednesday high, which was the Thursday new low, right? Because in Thursday we were trading at lower areas, but you understand my point, right? The previous high was turned into a new low. So that, of course, would be something that I'm watching to the downside, and that all-time high is what I'm looking for the upside. So we're stuck in a channel right now, right? That's all that's really happening. So you could take reversal trades off of the all-time high. You could look for reversal trades off of the bottom as well, because you know that there's selling up here, and you know that there's buying down there. Those could be opportunities to look for. The others is, of course, if the NASDAQ got weak and couldn't hold this new higher low that was a previous high, then yeah, we might see resistance there and a breakdown back into this demand zone. Now to the upside, which is what I was looking for, because of course the NASDAQ has done nothing but continued its uptrend since quite a while. I think it's been months now. I was going to say weeks, but I was looking for upside, right? I was looking for that continuation, that bullish sentiment, that relative strength to the overall market. So the best possible entry that I saw was a break into new highs and then buy into that trend. I'd love to catch a long off of this area. Of course, more upside and better risk to reward, and probably easier to manage. But I don't know if the market could pull back already, right? We dipped right here on Thursday. We dipped again off of the data. We were having good action. I did think that this was probably going to happen. So from that point, we're looking at the Qs because that's what I'm trading. So it's the same exact, right? The numbers, the name, nothing's different. The same technicals apply. On Qs, you can see that if we zoom out to the 30-minute and match it, it's essentially the same chart. You have the highs from the end of week last week, the beginning of this week. On the Qs, it's the same thing. And then what we're under on Thursday, pushing into those highs heading into Friday morning. On the NASDAQ, same exact thing. So for the Qs, I was looking for that break above about 446.5, right? That previous all-time high. And to the downside, I was looking for a break below 442. So in the live trading that I'm about to clip into this video, you'll see how it broke over, how we got into the trade, and then how we managed it into about 50-60% profit. I want to see the participation, right? Because this is the breakout into a new high a day and new all-time high. I want to see that level of participation. And it's staying pretty high, but I need to see that price match it too, right? Those work hand in hand. That's a bearish engulfing right there. Don't want to see that hold bearish engulfing because I think that may be foreshadowing more downside. Yeah, that wasn't that bad of a candle. So far on this breakout, we're getting a lot of indecision. Right? You have that break into new highs, and then how have the first few candles performed? All right. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just we broke into this indecision, and then this is starting to sell a little bit, but volume's pretty good. Turn on the EMAs if we're trying to get a higher low. Just a little bounce off that area. I'm not thinking about puts at all. Even if we break the uptrend, even if we sell off, then I would rather just get off the call, or I wouldn't get off the call, but I would rather do that than trade Qs to the downside. I'd only trade Qs to the downside if we broke below that 442. There's a little pop right there. Let's see if we get our entry. I may take a stab at this soon. There's another push into those highs right there. This is really low volume on this candle, right? It's 30 seconds in, so we're halfway done, but the volume here is 6.4K. So if we keep going at that speed, now it's 7, it's be about 14, 15K. And the previous candles were 30K, 35K, 33K. So current rate of participation puts us at about 50% participation, and that is not a lot of trading for a breakout. I know volume's secondary, but price action is looking pretty good. So I wouldn't be opposed to taking a stab right here. I'd just be careful of the volume. I'd want to see volume start pushing. But I think a stop below that high, I don't think it's a bad idea. I need to see this candle wick off again, volume pick up, which volume is picking up. Maybe this could be that push. But remember, that volume is what just kept me out of entering right there. Even though volume is secondary to price action, it is still something that I consider. Let's see, we're getting another wick off of that 9 EMA. Yeah, you can see it's trying to push, and that's high volume. Qs are still getting a pretty good push. Yeah, I'm going to take that entry right here. Alrighty, so we're in. I like how the volume has popped, right? The low volume retest, and then as price is expanding, volume is expanding. That's exactly what we were looking for. So I'm going to take that all day. And I'm looking for support if we do pull back below, but as of now, yep, yeah, there's about 10-15% profit. I'm going to take some off right here. There's 15% profit. There's 20% profit. Pretty simple setup, pretty easy to manage. Just keep an eye on the volume, that price action. I really, really like our entry, like the way that this trade is going. first red candle after that break and hold right here, right? We see green, 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 red for the retest of high of day, and then green, 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 and then first red. So that is showing a little bit of consolidation. So I'm watching this setup. I'm looking for a breakout to the upside, and then those whole numbers, right? 448, 449. My overall target today would be 450. I think that's a psychological whole number that the market could pull into. And we also see volume dropping throughout this consolidation. And as price is breaking up, right, we're seeing volume trying to break up. That is exactly what we're looking for. Contracts at new highs right here. Right, you can see the market's making that base, trying to push out of this. Nice. About 25% profit. Good volume on that candle too. Seeing if we get into 448 in the next few minutes. We're very close to it, and that is the next whole number. And there you go. That's about 20. Contracts are at 230 from the 185 entry. It's about 27, 28% profit. I'm going to trim and put that stop at entry, break into these new highs. Yeah, but I am looking for where we're getting support right now off the 9. And I'm looking for that to hold. That could also be a warning sign, right? If you start to break down below that and hold below that, don't have to wait to go into the red or go to break even. You could just get out, and if it starts making a higher low and getting a push, then another trade setup. But right now, if the market's giving you that structure, you don't ignore it, because that can help you stay in a trade and help you get out of a trade too. Hit 30% profit. That's not also going to make me panic, right? I'm still staying in the trade, still managing it. Contracts at 255. We're getting a good push. 260. All right, I'm going to take some off right here. That's 40%. That is how we do it, guys. Hopefully this is helping you trade breakouts and breaks into new all-time highs. Look at that volume expand right there. That's awesome. Alrighty. Contracts at 280. 50% profit. That's not bad. Can't really ask for more. That's just a perfect trade. You break out, you retest, you get in, uptrend straight up.